Welcome to the craziest slasher Sunday maybe ever. Doom Asylum.
Oh my god.
Hey, are you okay?
How would I know?
Jesus Christ. I thought I had seen this. I don't know what I was mixing this up with. I honestly thought I also owned this. So I must have been mixing this up with, I don't even know, The Prey or something. I honestly am kind of, or The Slayer. I think maybe that's what, I don't know what I thought I had seen before, but it sure as fuck wasn't this. Because this is definitely one of the most memorable movies I've watched in a long while. Doom Asylum, 1988. This is on Tubi. I think it's on a few other places as well, but this was an experience.
This was crazy. This was so crazy.
This was life-changing.
It was. This is definitely up there now in like one of the most memorable slashers we've watched. And it is a comedy.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't know that going in. I don't think did you know that it was either? Like, we looked it up maybe like 15 minutes in, I would say. But it was funny because, you know, we've watched a lot of slashers where they're not supposed to be funny, but the acting is so bad or whatever, and it makes it, like, unintentionally funny. And for the first, like, 15 minutes or so of this, I was like, they can't be serious. They can't be serious. And they're not. They're not serious. But it's very funny.
Yeah, but one thing that's kind of mesmerizing about this movie for me is that even though the film is self-aware to a degree, it never plays it like it is. Right? There's never any winking at the camera.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, we know we're being so bad it's good. It plays it very straight. And I think this is one of the rare examples. We've talked about this on the channel a lot. And this is going to be the movie I bring up from now on as the exception. But there's tons of movies, especially now, more than ever. Because back in 1988, this was not a thing. And that's why this is even more memorable. When you try to recreate the so bad it's good type of movie, and you really try to create that tone and those lines and that acting and the terrible framing and all of that stuff that we've seen in the past from slashers of the 80s, it's never done in a way that feels authentic. This movie, while over the top, I can definitely buy throughout watching this that this was an attempt at making a movie, like a slasher movie, and they just failed miserably, like a Troll 2 or something. I mean, so much so that the director could just be like, we were intending for this to be funny. You know what I mean?
I feel like it 100% was intentional.
I'm just saying, I think that the movie does such a wonderful job at parodying bad slashers without ever acknowledging it in a way that is, like, obvious. Where they're like, oh, we know what we're doing here. It's just, it plays it so straight. What I'm saying is that, like, the audience who's watching this, you have to have a lot of faith in them that they're going to understand what you're doing. Because there's so many people who would watch this, even horror fans, and be like, wow, that was the worst movie I've ever watched. That's one of the worst slashers of all time. Yeah. And it's like, but it's so fucking funny how bad it is.
Yeah, I do wonder if, like, you know, because we have seen modern movies that try to emulate the so bad it's good, but it, like, rarely works. Like, I can't really think of any off the top of my head that it was successful for us. I wonder if the fact that this is from the 80s, like, if that helps, because it's
100%. Like, you're not having to recreate
it in 2025.
Something.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, like, this is, like, they are in the 80s, and, like, it's very authentic in that way.
Yeah.
Such a funny movie. So funny. I mean, we were like, I don't know. We kept looking over at each other like every other second of this film because like the characters' reactions to things. There's just so much. There's so much to talk about with it. So I guess we should just get into it.
We had to rewind
a few times.
Like, oh my god,
so many times,
10 times at least. Just
we
to hear a line again or see a moment again, because I was like, there's no way. Especially in those first 10 to 15 minutes where I just thought we were watching a genuinely terrible slasher that was, you know, unintentionally funny.
Right. You're like, they didn't.
And I was like, oh my
that.
god, this is the best, most unintentionally funny slasher I've ever seen. And to kind of find out that this is intentionally bad makes it, I don't know, it's just it's so impressive to me. And I think that, I don't know, I don't feel like this movie would ever get enough credit for being that, you know, how unique it feels to me. I just don't feel like it's going to get that kind of level of attention, because it does play, as I said, I think a lot of people will watch this and they'll be like, that was a really bad slasher, and it's like, yes, right? Like Final Girls, right? Tries to do this, and it does it well, but it's very, very self-aware.
That's a good
like
example,
you know
actually.
exactly what's happening.
Yes.
They're like winking the audience, like, because the characters are like voyeurs. They go into a bad slasher.
Right.
And all of the bad acting and all of the bad decisions and all of the bad stuff is like very self-aware. We as the audience are in on the joke with the people on the outside going in.
Right.
They're us. They're the stand-ins for us. But if you were to take them out of the movie and just show that movie, that's like what you got going on here. So I don't know. I'm kind of enamored and in love with this film. I have a bid on eBay for a Arrow release of this movie right now. I hope I win, because I gotta have this movie. All right, let's get into it. Little keynotes here. This movie was made for a budget of $90,000, worth every penny.
Wow.
This has the way that they were trying to sell this movie, which just adds. This movie's amazing. This just adds to it for me, because it's like, also, once again, it's like they're so committed to the gag. They're so committed to the joke. But it also works, because on the cover of the film, the way they're trying to sell this is to say it stars two different porno mag models.
Yes, yeah. There's like a Playboy and
Penthouse. Yeah. That's hilarious to me.
Very funny.
That's such a fucking low budget slasher thing to do.
Yeah,
to promote your, porno actress on the cover.
Even though there's two adult model actors in this, we only see nudity one time.
One time for about
the rest of the time that there
seconds.
Are the girls are in bathing suits running around and I think the Penthouse, the porn star in this is she's the one that shows her tits off. She's running around in this leather punk kind of sexy outfit,
Yeah.
So funny. Oh my god, her character was hilarious.
Well, the movie had $90,000 budget, and $100 of that went to getting her to show her tits. She was paid $100 to flash her tits to the camera. I think that's pretty funny. How about we throw in an extra $100 and you flash your tits?
Yeah.
For a girl who's in Playboy,
yeah,
that can't be much of a hard ask.
Well, yeah, and it's a quick scene. It's
so fast.
Very fast.
So fast.
So $100 for that, hey.
But you never know. I mean, Slumber Party Massacre 2 is a good example of this, where you have a Playboy freaking centerfold in your movie, and she's the only one that says she doesn't want to do nudity.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm trying to get away from that. Yeah. I want to establish myself as a real actress. Slumber Party Massacre 2 is probably not the best pick.
Well, whatever.
To establish yourself as a serious actress. And Doom Asylum is sure as shit not that movie.
Yeah.
All right, next piece here. This is Kristen Davis, Charlotte from Sex and the City's first film. She's wearing a very revealing one-piece swimsuit here that has a very high cut around the vaginal area. I feel like she was just wearing dental floss down there. It was like, oh, that's
kind of crazy how, like, yeah.
That's Kristen Davis's vagina, full on. That's great. So you kind of see that too. And this is also very fun. The director of this made a movie called Scared Stiff, which is another like parody horror film, which I've never seen. I have seen most of the parody horror films, but there's still a few blank spots for me, and Scared Stiff is one of them. But he also followed up this film with another film that Kaylee and I reviewed on here and love, which is Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge.
Oh, yeah. That's
that
awesome.
makes perfect sense to me because he makes comedy movies
Yeah.
in the horror style.
Yeah.
And he's the first person to cast Pauly Shore in a movie.
Ah.
So he understands
Yeah.
good comedy talent.
For sure.
So, okay. Starting in the opening of the film, we have a couple who, from what I've gathered, I think the main guy here who ends up being the killer is a lawyer?
Yes, he's an attorney.
Okay, and
Yeah.
he just settled a case
So they're, like,
for $5 million.
Yeah.
Now, I'm assuming he
gets some commission.
He gets
or
a
something.
commission on it, right? But
Yeah.
they're acting like they just made $5 million.
Yeah, they're just like celebrating like.
But if you get
crazy.
10%,
Yeah.
then you get $500,000.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know how much he gets, but he's got a lot.
That's typically the lawyer's
Yeah.
take is 10%, so $500,000, and that's 6 times the budget of this film. He's like, we can make 6 Doom Asylums.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
Yeah, they're celebrating.
They're celebrating by drinking and pouring champagne all over themselves and into their glasses and into their mouths. Like they're literally just spraying it on themselves
while they're driving.
While they're driving, and an
while
attorney.
they're in a car. Yes, an attorney. When was drinking and driving illegal? I feel like we've talked about this before, but I never remember.
I mean, when did it become a stigma, or when was it illegal? Because I think it's always been illegal. It's just the cops never ever did anything about it.
Oh, I thought there was specific like laws that happened not more recently now.
They became more.
More recently than you would think, I guess.
They became more strict about it more recently. But when I was a kid, if you got caught drinking and driving, they didn't really arrest you for it. They just pulled you over and were like, why do people... I swear to God.
Sorry.
I swear to God. Every single time, we'll sit here all day long.
Yes.
And no noise will happen in the whole complex. The second we start recording, I think that the gardeners outside wait for us to start.
Yeah, either the gardeners come
or the kids.
The children in our neighborhood.
Every time. It's crazy.
They're literally right outside our window.
They are in our living room right now, actually.
Right there.
You want to come in and talk? What do you think about Doom Asylum? Jesus fucking Christ.
It's crazy.
All right, for the time being, I think they're gone, so we'll see. Yeah, so drunk driving was always a thing, but it's just that it's, it wasn't as strict as I had said. And, when you got pulled over when I was a kid, they would either, I think way back in the day, they would be like, all right, I'm going to have to follow you home to make sure you get home safely. And then later in the 80s or something, they were more like, is anybody in the car, sober enough to drive? And then from there it was kind of like, all right, I'm going to have to get you to call someone to come pick you up, or they'll drive you home and you're going to have to leave your car on the side of the road.
Yeah.
But then I think once drunk driving accidents got a lot of scrutiny, and we're really starting to have an uptick in like vehicular like deaths.
Oh, that's so horrible.
I think they were now made to enforce the laws more, and now they're like super hardcore about them.
Yeah, as they should be, obviously.
They'll go to prison.
Yeah,
yeah. They do not fuck around with that stuff anymore. Yeah,
so. But this guy's like doesn't care, drinking champagne.
This is like he's just gonna pull me over and ask if anyone else is okay to drive.
And then the best part is like they go to kiss each other. Like it's like
I'd love to count
40 seconds.
It's so
at
long.
least or more where he's not looking at the road. They're kissing like this. And he's driving, and they're like, what's crazy too is they're not even going down like a straight road. It's like kind of curvy.
Yeah.
And of course there's another car coming, and they get into a car accident. But it was so funny for how long they weren't looking at the road.
Yeah.
That's like, I think that was probably the first like, this can't be serious. Like they're not gonna have them look away that long.
I mean, Brian did it in Too Fast, Too Furious.
That's true.
The freaking stare and steer or whatever the fuck when he's just looking at Eva Mendes without looking at the road for like 30 full seconds to try to flex, and it's like,
bro, don't do that. Look at the road. Keep your eyes on the road.
If some guy did that with my daughter in the car, I would pull him out and beat him to death. I would be Too Fast, Too Furious. Huh. That's crazy to me. Yeah, he takes his eyes off the road. I would love to know the actual length of time.
Yes, yeah. It feels like it was at least
30 seconds.
30 to 40 seconds.
It's a long. I mean, I think in moments like that, when we, the audience, like, have been on the road.
Yes.
And we know how long looking away from the road is okay. Which is not long.
No,
it's literally like a second.
Sometimes not even that. Things can happen like
they
so
can
fast.
happen, but reality is that you can't always keep your eyes on the road 24.
Yeah, I mean you'll look away for like a second.
Because if you have kids, if you have something, Kaylee, there's all sorts of things that happen in the car. It's just like, it doesn't matter. But there's, you get like over and you say something, or like the girls are fighting in the back and you're like, stop it. I mean, how many movies show like the kid in the back doing something and the parent takes his eyes off the road for half a second
and then they all die,
wrecked.
Yeah.
That's reality. I mean, it sucks, and I hate taking my eyes off the road even for 1 millisecond, but this is insane.
This is like, you would never do this.
So you as a driver, I think it magnifies the amount of time it feels, for sure. Like 10 seconds would feel like an hour.
You're right.
To take my eyes off the road for 10 seconds, there's no way you could pay me enough money to try to take my eyes off the road for 10 full seconds and drive straight.
Because like you're just trained too, I feel, because it's like it doesn't feel comfortable to like not be looking like where you're driving, obviously.
Self-preservation
kicks in
at some
feel
point.
like you just so yeah, you're right. It might be like 20 seconds. It might be a lot lower than what we're saying it is, but it feels like a really long time.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's only 10, but it feels like an eternity.
It's crazy. And yeah, then they get into a car accident, and it's so funny.
And he seems shocked by it.
When
he looks back, he's like, oh my god, what happened?
And then it's like he instantly is like sitting up from the ground.
Yeah.
Like not groggy, is just like calling out for Judy or whatever her name is. And he goes and finds her like a little ways off by a tree or something. And he goes to like hold her hand. And he picks it up, and it's like her whole wrist is like, the hand is just off. And she's there, and she's like, don't worry about me. The doctors will take care of me. They'll fix me up. He's like, like they're both crying and talking to each other.
Yeah. And
then the next scene is he's on the fucking autopsy table, dead.
That's pretty funny. That was a pretty funny cut for like,
yes,
I'm gonna be fine, and then he's in the autopsy room.
Yes.
And then Kaylee's favorite thing ever, we have the coroner eating. This has become such a staple.
I hate it, but this one was funny because like this coroner is insane. He's wearing like sunglasses, and he's like eating an apple, and then he puts it in the bag.
No. It's a sandwich.
It's a sandwich? I thought it was an apple.
No, it's like a full sandwich.
Oh, that's even worse because he takes a bite out of it and then puts it in the bag with the coroner.
Just loose. just like putting a sandwich in your corner bag, like just completely loose, and then closing it up and pulling out whatever random ass tool.
Yeah.
He's using a utility knife.
Yeah.
He's not using a scalpel.
Yeah.
He's using a straight up utility knife to, for some reason, cut the guy's face off. I don't know why the guy's face is off.
I don't know either. I was like, that wasn't the accident that did that. So I guess he was like gonna peel his skin off and then like open his skull. But I'm like, you don't have to do that actually. I don't think there's any reason why you would need to peel the skin off.
So in an autopsy, you do cut the scalp. So that you can get to the brain. Maybe and you cut this off and you take this off and you weigh the brain, and that's part of autopsies. But you definitely do not start cutting the whole face off, which he does because the guy has no fucking face in this film.
Yeah.
So I was like, why does he have a face?
So funny. And then there's like an assistant with him, and of course the killer, like, his fingers, like, twitch, and the guy's like, it's premature, like, he's still alive, and the guy's like, no, it's just post-mortem, like, twitching or whatever.
Yeah, it's, he says it's,
rigor mortis. It's like, it's rigor mortis.
Rigor mortis.
And then he just full-on, like, wakes up, sits up, and is, like, eyes open, asking where Judy is, and they're like, she's dead, she didn't make it, I'm sorry, dude.
Rigor mortis is like the hardening of the body.
I know, that's what I thought too.
It would make the hands move. That makes no sense. It would be electrical impulses that are still left in your brain.
I thought there was another phrase for that, for when bodies have like the rigor. Electrical stuff.
It's not rigor, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the stages of decomposition in a body, unfortunately. But
it's not getting up off the table with a utility knife in your throat.
Just like,
yeah. I don't know. It's stuck in his throat.
Yeah.
Why is there a utility knife in his fucking jugular vein? What coroner is doing this? And this is coroner. The dirtiest.
Oh, it's so gross.
Most abandoned looking coroner's office I've ever seen in my life.
So, what I don't understand. Okay, so he attacks them. He kills both of them.
Yeah.
And then...
I would too!
But then everybody in the hospital is just like, we can't stay here anymore. Because, like, 10 years later...
That place was abandoned long before that autopsy.
But, like, I don't remember what they say, but they do mention, like, that this guy kills... Like, he killed the two coroners, and, like, the kids in this movie say that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the guys got killed, and then everybody in the hospital was like, time to go. We can't do any business here. And he just lives there. Well,
when both of your, I guess when the murder takes place and the, Better Bureau Business shows up.
And are like, you performed an autopsy on a living person. Looks at the
state of things.
Sure, that.
There's no way that place is passing inspection.
Yeah, you're right. They're like, there was a sandwich in the coroner's bag.
He's cutting the faces off of people with utility knives and sunglasses on in a dirty ass room.
Yeah,
there's no way.
I think that coroners and morticians, I'm sure there are probably a lot of cool ones, so don't take that the wrong way, but I feel like that's such a trope in movies too, is to be like the very nonchalant, cool, like kind of edgy coroner or mortician.
They're supposed to be so desensitized.
I get that, but it's like they can also be desensitized and just be like regular people. Like, they don't need to be like, I don't know. That's just always cracks me up. They always have to make them like kooky. Like, only weirdos would want to work with dead bodies. And I'm like...
Like Axel from
I don't
Friday
think
4.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's like eating a sandwich and puts it on top of the girl.
Hate it. But that's not true. That's not true. I think normal people... Because that's a very, like, you have to have... We have that. Like, who else is going to do that? Somebody has to do that
Psychopaths.
Job. No!
Yeah, they're all psychopaths.
I bet you more people, like, because there's that whole thing about, like, surgeons, right? Having, like, being, like, sociopaths or whatever, or psychopaths or something, because of the, like, cutting into, like, people's bodies. I bet you it's more, like, actual, like, doctors that have problems versus, like, the coroners and morticians.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're all freaks.
No way!
So then we cut to 10 years later.
Yes.
Where we have the same actress who plays the girl in the car playing her daughter and somehow they're the same age. I don't understand this at all, but that's part of the movie's charm, is that the movie doesn't make any sense. So I guess that girl had her when she was 10.
I don't know.
And that is the chick who plays Frankenhooker in Frankenhooker. So that's pretty cool, because I love that film. And yeah, we get probably the funniest thing in the whole movie to me, which that was one of the things I had to rewind, because I was like, there's no fucking way this happens. So she's having a breakdown because her mom died, and they like stop around the area. Yeah. I don't know why he's taking her to the scene of her death, but she picks up a mirror.
Yeah, okay.
And she's like, this is my mom.
So many things. Don't know why the mirror is there. Don't know why that would still be there 10 years later after a crash.
Yeah.
Don't know why they're going to the asylum, which also I don't know why it's an asylum. It should just be a hospital.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're going there to begin with. Like, I guess just because...
For a picnic.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
But, like, of all the places, I guess they're just like, we're too cool. Like, we're not scared by the rumors or whatever.
Picnic that you're wearing a one-piece bathing suit to with no water in sight to go swimming. Yeah,
just to go sunbathe. But they stop at the crash scene of her mother's death.
Yeah.
And the one girl in the car is like, she died 10 years ago! Come on! Like, it's so funny.
So then we get to the funniest thing in the whole film, which I was just alluding to, which he's like, I could never replace your mom, but I could try. And she's like, can I call you Mom? And he's like, sure. And for the rest of the film, this
Mom.
Backfires on him big time, because he tries to fuck her later, and she's like, no, Mom.
That's incest.
That's incest. So, like, for the rest of the film, she literally, like, calls him and thinks of him as Mom.
Oh my
That
gosh.
shit is
so
hilarious.
Funny. His character, I have to say, was like, I hated his character so much. His like gimmick is that he's like so indecisive. Like, that's like his character's thing, is that like he can never pick. Yeah. Like, he's just like, oh, I don't know, should I? Maybe. Like, he does that stuff all the time, and yeah, his acting and everything. I mean, it was funny, don't get me wrong, but I was like, if this person actually existed, I would throw them off of a roof. Which he almost gets thrown off of a roof.
He does.
But I would really throw him off of a roof.
He does almost get thrown off a roof, and we'll get there.
Yeah.
There's some really funny stuff that happens there. So, speaking of the music in this movie.
Oh my god. This is wild.
The first music that we hear, I think one of the primary instruments that is used is a cat. It's like they're like remixing cat noises, I think.
Yeah.
To make it into music.
I would make music like that.
That was fucking crazy. When I heard it, I was like, are those cats meowing? Is that the music right now? This is crazy. Then, one of the craziest choices in the history of film that I was like, is this just like they couldn't afford the music rights, so they were just like distorting it to the point of incomprehensible like sound? I honestly so they get to the Doom Asylum
and there's a punk band
and there's this band that's playing.
Well, I don't know if they're a punk band.
They say
they're punk.
Yeah. And you have one girl on keyboards, one girl on vocals, and one girl on percussion. Yeah. And there is literally, like, it's just noise.
Oh my god,
I know, like, don't get me wrong. I am not talking about, like, your parents when they heard your rock music being like, that's just noise. No. This was literally just noise. Yes. It was like, that's it. That's all it was. There was no attempt at any kind of vocals. No attempt at drumming of any sort, of percussion of any sort, and no keyboard noises. None of that was there.
Yeah.
It was literally just like garbled noise, which I think is supposed to be the joke, right? Is that their music's so bad it doesn't sound like anything.
Yes.
But to have someone hitting on drums and to not hear drums at all,
oh my God.
to see somebody banging on a keyboard and for there to be no piano sounds, at all.
Yeah.
And for there to be someone on vocals singing something and for there not to be a voice.
Yeah.
Was weird to watch.
I think there is like a voice like screaming.
It's kind of in the background, like
yeah,
like something like that. I was like, listen, I kept listening in on it. Like,
I mean,
there's nothing
you
there.
were like, this is a bad copy. Like this is
I thought maybe
this is wrong. Nope, that's just it.
That's the joke.
Horrible, yeah. So bad.
It sounded
that was like one of the craziest kinds of music.
If you were to turn on a
film.
garbage disposal and then like kind of distort it,
they're like, this
that's
is
like
how
what it would
bad
sound like.
punk music sounds.
I guess that's what they're trying to say, but for it to not even have
or just that they're so bad.
Like it would have been one choice to just have them be terrible. Right? And for them to just be banging on the keyboard and her to be hitting the drums all out of tune and her to be like...
Instead, it's like abstractly horrible.
It's nothing. It's not music. It's nothing. It's literally just noises happening.
Yeah, when they get there, like when the other kids like show up, they're like, oh, that's somebody so-and-so, like they play in the sewers. And I was like, what are they talking about? And then one of the guys goes and he's like, I'll go take care of it. And he goes and like just unplugs like one cord and like it shuts down everything for them. And they're like so pissed about it.
Yeah.
And they go over to the like window to look down at him and the other kids walking up. And there's like one of the girl on the keyboard is like French. She's like supposed to be like the really political one, and her French accent is so... I don't know
the
if it's
amount of times
okay,
I've had to listen to Kaylee fucking mimic this girl. This one phrase she says in the movie. Kaylee's been walking around this fucking...
will never be defeated. It doesn't even
saying
sound
that
French.
All fucking week. I've listened to that every 5 minutes for the last 2 straight days.
Okay, so here's what I don't understand. I don't understand if she's actually supposed to be French or if she's like pretending to be French because of like the French Revolution and she's like acting like that's like, because she's all about like revolution, but that phrase, the people united will never be defeated, it doesn't even sound French. It sounds like kind of British, if anything, the way she says it. And like, okay, I can't jump ahead because that's like her death scene when she says it, but she says here, like, she walks up to the window, and the first line she says is something like, it's the bourgeoisie.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what's happening? So funny. And then the singer is the porn star that's, like, hyper aggressive.
Dude.
She, like, and her laugh
is iconic. She does it 35 times in the movie.
And she does that. She goes...
Every time.
She sounds like she's trying to be the Wicked Witch.
It's amazing.
So funny. And then the girl on percussion is like... This is also funny to me, but she's like in love with this guy.
Yeah.
The other... Because she's black, and then there's one black guy. And she's like, the black guy.
we gotta be together.
She, like, has these, like, fantasies of seeing him. Like, the first time she sees him, she, like, has a fantasy of them, like, running to each other in on a field in slow-mo.
Yeah. And it's the framing is amazing.
It's, like, down here. Like, you can kind of see her face because she, like, is, like, bending over to, like, be in the camera. And they, like, run towards each other slow-mo for a long time, and then they kiss, and she's just, like, so in love with him.
They're both, like, immediately enamored with each other. They're, like, both... It's, like, love at first sight for both of them.
Yes.
And both of their death scenes are them thinking they're getting killed by the other one. And being like... Oh, you could have just said no.
Oh my gosh!
Like they're so disappointed
and then, like, we
that
just
the
wanted
person,
one date.
the person that they fell in love with from a distance would kill them like that.
So funny. So is the
because they don't see the killer.
Yeah. Then okay, we'll get to it because there's more. There's more stuff that happens with them. So then after that, they go over to this like area to have their picnic and stuff, and I'm trying to... Okay, there's also another guy here that was, like, also kind of cracking me up because he's, he's, like, 40 years old, but he's, like, trying to play, like, a 20... But he's also, like, playing, like, a 15-year-old. I don't know what age he's supposed to be, but he's supposed to be, like, nerdy. and like really nerdy and geeky and like super into baseball cards. Which was that like a nerdy hobby back in the day?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if like because baseball is like sport and very popular, so I didn't know if like baseball cards were like. I don't know.
I mean,
like kind of geeky, like because like today,
not
like Pokemon or like something maybe would be the thing, the card thing that people or like Magic the Gathering or something.
Sure, I was collecting baseball cards nerdy. I think it was a geeky thing that cool kids did. It was like their version of cool, and then you had other kids who weren't cool who tried to look cool by doing what the cool kids might do. But it's always like it's always the guys who can't play are the ones that are like become obsessed, and then they have to have all the stuff to like almost try to live vicariously in a way where they're like, I have the cards, so I'm the man.
Hey, Bobby!
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Was it? I don't know. In the 80s? I don't remember.
He's definitely supposed to be a nerd.
Yes.
Very funny. He's got like this like cap on, like a baseball cap, but like the way he wears it is also like really like it makes him look like a little boy. Like his outfit and everything, like he looks like he's like 5 for some reason, but he's not. So yeah, I don't. I'm trying to remember actually. They go and like they have their. I think what I think happens is like they go and sit down, and then the black guy's like, I'm gonna go. Or no, it's the condoms, the water balloons. That's what happens next. Yeah. So then the punk like girls fill up condoms with water.
Yeah.
With water, and then like throw it on them, and then they get all pissed, and the black guy's like, I'm gonna go talk to them, and I think that's when we get the second flash scene of her like the slow-mo, and then this time they like fuck.
But when they throw the condoms, her big crescendo for that is to show her tits.
That's what. Okay, yeah, that
almost like
here.
a middle finger. That's like
kind
of how I took it, where she was like, she was like,
get out of here, go to the mall and take these and take this. And
something
she like shows
like that,
them.
and it's like that is not a way to scare off guys.
But the guys are offended. Like the
oh
main
yeah,
guy
he's mad about
like,
it.
I'm gonna get her.
He's like, oh, I'm gonna get her. It's like if a girl shows me her tits, I'm not gonna be mad.
I was like,
that's
wait,
not my
what?
response.
She's trying to scare them away
by showing her boobs, by showing
like,
her Playboy centerfold boobs.
Her like extremely fake tit boobs.
Yeah, but those were very popular at that time, and those guys would have loved them.
They'd have been like. I don't know
it was such a wild thing to say.
It was funny, and then the Darnell, I think is his name,
followed by
Darnell goes in and is like gonna look for her, and he's like, okay, what's weird is that he's like hearing music, and so he's like, come on baby, like I like music, I can rap, and then he starts rapping like horribly.
Yeah, of course.
And then the killer comes up behind him and like clamps him with like some type of, I don't know, autopsy tool, because like that's his gimmick, is that he like kills people with autopsy tools.
Well, I think they're supposed to. Yeah.
I don't know if they really are autopsy tools, but
they were like forceps, but they're not. I have no idea what the fuck those things are.
I don't know either, but he like squishes his head in, and the guy's like, all you had to do was say no. And all you had to do was say no, honey. And then the killer's like,
I hate rap.
I hate rap. Don't call me honey.
Yeah. So before that, though, after they get hit by the water balloons, it was the line we said here at the beginning, but one of my favorite fucking things in the whole film, the boyfriend who is now mom. It goes to the girl who's like freaking out about having water thrown on her. Yeah. And he's like, are you all right?
And she like, says, how would I know?
How would I know?
How would I know?
That's so fucking funny. I rewound that and laughed as hard the second time as I did the first time.
How would I know?
How would I know if I am okay?
Also, they're in their bathing suits at this point.
Yeah.
So like having water thrown on you in your bathing suit is like, okay.
How would I know? How would I know if I'm okay?
So funny. That's definitely like...
How would anyone else know?
Yes.
You're the only one that would know. That got me so good. How would I know?
How would I know?
And then I think that's where the, like, incest thing comes in.
Oh, yeah, because he picks up the condom.
Yeah.
And he's like, maybe we could. And she's like, Mom, that's incest.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, dude.
He's like, I should not have agreed to this mom thing.
So funny.
Can I call you Mom to your boyfriend?
Can I call you Mom?
Fucking hilarious.
So funny.
God.
Yeah, so then Darnell's dead.
Rip Darnell.
Poor Darnell.
Oh, I'd like to point out, though, that before Darnell, if that's his name, Kaylee says it, I'm not
I think it is because she sings, like, Darnell. Remember, like, she's, like, singing his name?
How would she even know his name?
I think they introduce each other.
Well, regardless.
I don't remember.
We'll go with Darnell. When Darnell is going to try to win the heart of his lady, he takes the Jack Daniel bottle and he uses it as cologne.
Yeah.
He like spritzes it on his thumb and then like taps it on his throat. That was so fucking funny to me.
Like, why do you smell like a bottle of Jack Daniels?
Like, he's drinking Jack Daniels and the smell coming out of his mouth is not enough. He needs more Jack Daniels on the neck. Using that as a cologne.
Gross. So gross.
Brilliant. Just so funny to me. And then, yeah, we were talking about the French chick.
Who, while she's the next one to die.
And
yes.
she says,
so
I'm a Republican.
No, but
I voted for Reagan.
Her whole, like, death scene is really funny because she's like, I need to go, like, vandalize stuff. It's my revolutionary, like, obligation or something. I don't remember what she says. She says something really funny like that. That's like, it's my like duty as a citizen. Like, I have to go spray paint stuff or whatever. And then she's walking around singing, "The people united will never be defeated." And then yes, when she gets like attacked, she says a bunch of things to him where she's like, "You're a victim of your own system," or something. And then, yeah, I'm a Republican. I voted for Reagan.
So the Republican Reagan thing, is that supposed to be like, if the person's killing her for her political beliefs,
yes,
she's trying to, like, in the last second be like, okay, no, actually, I'm on the opposite side. Because the least punk rock thing you could ever fucking do in your life.
Oh my God, is to vote for Reagan. God. So it's either
no president has been hated by punk rockers more than fucking Ronald Reagan.
That, or she's like just a poser. But it's like, why be like...
No, I think it's
right.
a last-ditch effort in the moment when she realizes she's going to get killed, that if she reveals her true self... I think she really did vote for Reagan. Honestly, and I do think she's a poser. I think that's the joke.
Yeah, that's what I think, too.
Oh, I'm so anti-establishment.
But she's, like, voting for the most...
Establishment politician
guy.
of all fucking time, yeah.
Yeah, and then the killer is like, I don't care what you believe, or like, I don't care who you vote for, I just don't have to agree with it, or something like that. Like,
I had no idea.
He like has like a thing that he says after every kill of this. He's just like making all these jokes.
And then after every kill, I think just maybe to pad the runtime, he makes his way back to his lair, and we cut randomly to like 30 to 45 seconds of old like black and white movies that he's watching. There's like
a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
There's a Sweeney Todd movie.
Oh, maybe not Dr. Jekyll. Sweeney Todd.
There's 5 films altogether, and they amount to 6.5 minutes of the film.
That's a long time.
Leaving only 69 minutes of actual footage from this movie in the movie.
Some of the acting in those old films was really hammy, too, so I was like, did they film this for the movie?
Right.
I guess they're all real
No, they're all real films.
So that is all I can imagine, is that they're just like, look at these really bad horror movies or something. Like, the acting is so ridiculous. But, yeah.
It's there to pad the runtime.
It definitely is.
For sure.
It definitely is.
But I don't know. I think it's supposed to kind of mirror things that are happening.
I thought
maybe,
so, but I don't know. I don't know if it actually does.
I'd have to watch this again to really try to pay attention, but I don't think that this movie is really trying to have any kind of coherence to it.
Yeah. Okay, and then after she dies,
Let's see.
Who's the next?
So the baseball card that's sitting there starts levitating.
Yeah, just straight up
away.
flies and goes away.
This is a really funny scene because what's supposed to be happening here is that the wind takes away his card, right? But it's also sitting literally right next to like 6 other cards that are actually laying on top of it. They're kind of like fanned out, and it's like on the bottom, and it gets like whisked away.
Yeah.
For some reason, all the other cards don't move a centimeter.
Yeah.
But somehow the wind blows that one single card away. How that would be possible is beyond me, but it literally like it floats away.
Yes.
It's like pulled by a string, and it's like slowly kind of being pulled out of frame. That was hilarious. Just the best way to do it.
So funny.
Because they could have done like everything in this movie is a brilliant joke to me. Like just even down to that little level of like in the script, we're gonna have your baseball card blow away, and you're gonna run off to go get it, which is gonna lead to your demise. And it's like, we got to even turn that into a gag, right? We gotta be like, all right, how does the wind blow? Okay, let's take that and let's play with it. Let's make it not how the wind blows at all.
Right.
Why? Let's not make it move any of the cards, just this one, and then it's gonna not move in any way the laws of physics would allow this card to move. Like, I know I might be overthinking the humor in this film, but I feel like every single choice in this movie is purposely done to be exaggerated.
It feels like it. It definitely feels like it's intentionally exaggerated, and it's done well. Like it is really funny because like then his death, like he's going after this card and like pretending like he's like calling some shots in a baseball game. He's gonna get an.
It's because he's retentive.
Oh yeah. We didn't even talk about her.
Kristen Davis.
Yes, like her character is supposed to be the like brainy one, but I
then
feel
she's like making
she
fun of him for being brainy.
She uses words wrong though. Like I feel like she uses these like big sounding words, but then they're like not used correctly. Because unless we're wrong on this, but she calls that guy retentive, and we were like, okay, what is the retentive?
The retentive thing makes sense because he's like listing off facts about a card.
But why is that an
insult? So he retains information. That's the joke. She's saying you're retentive like it's a negative thing when she herself is supposed to be the smart one, right? And smart
her parents
people
are like shrinks.
Smart people are retentive.
Yeah.
That's like one of their attributes.
Right.
Is that they retain information.
Yes.
And she says it to him like it's a diss.
Yeah.
Which is an admission.
Yeah.
Of like, not only probably do I not even know what this word means exactly, but I think of that as a negative when I myself think of myself as somebody who should be retentive.
So weird.
So I think, once again, it's just another funny, cleverly executed joke.
Yeah. Baseball guy's death is actually pretty good because he gets, like, drilled in the head. And, you see, like, the drill go straight into his head.
There's a couple good gore gags in this.
Oh, definitely. I mean, her kill is, like, the best.
Oh, my God. Kristen Davis's death is fucking awesome. She's got a gnarly kill.
Yeah, but I liked his kill. Like, I was like, oh, dang, how'd they do that? Because it's like, you really see it, like, go in, and, like, his face is there and stuff. Yeah. So I'm like, that's cool. They did some cool prosthetics. I don't remember what the guy says. I don't know what the killer's, like, quip after he kills him is. I can't remember.
Yeah. I
don't remember.
I know that when he is... I know that when he's, like, walking... Or no, this might be the boyfriend who becomes mom. It's either the baseball guy or him, but for some reason, the music, which earlier was Cats, is now someone chanting, "Help me."
Yeah, no, so, okay, he goes away, and then mom goes... So baseball guy dies, and then mom goes to look for Darnell.
Oh, yeah. And her line is, "Where'd Darnell go?"
Okay, that's That's the girl that's into Darnell. Like, cause so the boyfriend, you're right. Like, he's going through it and he's hearing like, help me, and he's like, I don't know. He goes up and finds them on the roof and they're playing chess on a checkers board, which was really funny. We were laughing about that. And yeah, he's like trying to be like, okay, like where is
There's
he?
like these really big chess pieces on this really tiny board, which is on a drum.
The leader girl gets like really angry because she loses.
No one beats me at chess.
So aggressive and weird. It's really funny. But yeah, he goes up and is like trying to look for him, and then she says, "Where'd Darnell go?"
Where'd Darnell go?
Which we were laughing about. And she's like sitting there, like just at the checkers board, and then meanwhile, Mom and the leader girl like get into just a fight. Like they just start fighting each other.
I love that you just called that guy Mom. It threw me for a loop. I didn't know what you were talking about. I thought you meant Mom Girl. But then you're talking about Mom and the punk leader girl.
Yes.
Get into
the
most ridiculous fight I've watched.
The way she jumps on him like so many times, she like just like jumps onto his front, like wraps her, like they look like they're about to have sex.
Yes, it's basically
like
because
I did keep thinking that was gonna happen, like when they were gonna just like start making out. They don't. They just fight, and then she like throws him over the roof. And he's like...
She throws him over the ledge.
Yeah.
Almost off of the roof, and he's holding on. And then his girlfriend is looking up, and it's her and Kristen Davis's character, and they're looking up at them, and she's like, oh my god. And she's like, he probably won't fall.
Yeah. I don't know.
Mom, be careful.
This stunt actually looked pretty crazy because he's like hanging, like there's a scene that you saw.
Oh my god.
His like shirt is like hanging on something. And I'm like, what is he standing on?
This is, once again, a perfectly executed joke that's going to go over most people's heads. They purposely show a shot from one angle.
Yeah.
They show it from a few different angles, and you can't see the harness that's holding him up at all. But they purposely frame the last shot in a way where you can clearly see the rope from his neck that's in the harness around his midsection going up into the rocks. You can see the practical suit that he's wearing that's holding him there, plain as day. It's hilarious that they show that so explicitly.
So funny. Yeah, and he's just hanging there, and you're like, oh my god. While that's happening, the drummer girl, that's when she goes and gets killed and has, like, I just wanted one date or whatever, and he's like, sorry, honey, I'm taken.
Yeah.
And then she screams.
Yeah, Kiki,
yeah. That's her name.
Kiki
screams.
Which then gives him superpowers.
And he just flies up, like just
so
jumps up and over, like...
He doesn't even jump. He literally flies like Superman.
Up, just like... And runs into the asylum. So funny.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. That whole scene is hilarious. And so then he goes and looks for her, and she's gotten captured, though, I think, at that point.
I think so.
And she's, like, tied down on some, like, tilt table thing.
Yeah, it's like the thing that they cut the skin off of the girl in Martyrs.
Yeah. It's like some, I don't know.
It's exactly the same table.
Right,
that circular table.
I don't know what that's called.
I don't either.
But anyway, she's, like, tied up there, because he's, like... I guess realizes that she looks like Judy, his girlfriend that died.
Yeah.
And
seeing as how it's literally the same person, you think you would have noticed that quicker.
I know. But sorry, I'm like trying to remember
this
the
is
order
where we get
of things.
Kristen Davis's death, which she's just like, I forget how this all goes down, but she's not taking it seriously at all.
She's like, you're a delusion. She goes into this room and is like...
She tries to become a therapist.
Because her parents are like shrinks. And she's like, you're a delusion. What would I say to you if you were a delusion? Or what if you're not a delusion or something? Like, she's like talking so weird, and he just like walks up to her, and she's like sitting down, and she's like, no!
She like falls into a chair.
And then he takes like a saw,
something like that,
to
and
her
cuts into her face.
And the
It's fucking gnarly.
The prosthetic, like the fake version of her, looks pretty good.
For this budget?
Like, because sometimes, for this budget,
yes.
but sometimes, like, they'll, like, try and recreate an actor, like, back in the day, and it doesn't always, like, you can just, like, really tell. Like, you can definitely tell it's not her, but I mean, like, they did a good job, like, making it look like her, I feel.
I agree. I think the kill's fantastic.
It's great. So it's just, like, just right into her face.
It wouldn't kill her.
Yeah.
So I don't know why she's dead. I mean, she would eventually bleed out from it, but he like cuts into her jaw and down into her face right here. Like, she'd be injured.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't die. Not like, unless he like started in her temple.
Yeah. Which
is possible. But from what I could tell, it looked like it was going into her, like right into here, and he cuts down through her face, like freaking the Joker or Itchy the Killer or something, where he like is opening up her mouth. I guess that'd be more like Hoffman in Saw.
Oh yeah,
because he just gets one side done. But that's like it would basically be like Hoffman when he gets half his jaw ripped and he kind of screams and his jaw's hanging. That's what happened to her. I don't know why she's dead, but she's dead. Whatever. But it looks fucking fantastic.
It looks great. Yeah, that's definitely like the best kill. And I think before that happened, or maybe after, I don't know. But the boyfriend gets like kind of captured at one point too, and during all of this, because the main punk chick, like the leader girl, she does see the killer at one point, and like, because she gets accused, I think that's so. Yeah, she like comes in and finds the girl's body like that, and then the boyfriend comes in and sees it and is like, "You did this," and she's like, "No, like it was a guy." But then, like, she goes on this, like, vendetta where she's like, I'm going to get that guy. Like, I'm going to kill him. Yeah. And because she's so aggressive. And she ends up, like, kind of saving them.
Yep. She does.
She runs in and is like, show me what you got. And she's got, like, this, like, metal pole. And she's, like, going to fight the guy.
But that's after the killer cuts off the main guy's toes one by one.
He cuts all of them off while singing, like, this little piggy. Yeah. That's gnarly. I don't like people's toes getting cut off.
It was gnarly. Shout out to the ugly stepsister.
Yeah. And so then she like chases him around. She knocks him out and then frees the girl.
Yeah.
And then they like bump into this machine.
It's a food processor.
For some reason, a food processor in this like hospital.
Why it's in a doom asylum, and I have no idea.
She falls down on it and is like stuck on it.
On the conveyor belt.
And it's like going through. And she's like screaming for the other girl to turn it off. And she's like, oh, like she can't find the switch. And then like the girl.
It's like 400 yards long for some reason.
It's like the same shot, but like she's on it like for like a really long time.
You know what it reminded me of a lot? It's almost identically the same scene, and it came out actually after this. So maybe it ripped this off. Is Child's Play 2.
Oh.
When Chucky gets, put in the thing and they reverse him back up into it, and then it comes out as like a mangled mess.
Yeah, because that's what happens is she comes out as like a cube.
A cube.
With like her hair or something, like a hand sticking up.
You know what she looks like? She looks exactly like Boo in Monsters, Inc. When he goes through the conveyor belt and then it comes out and it's literally a cube with her little eyeball sticking up. And he's like, I feel like I can even hear her. Right? It's just Mike Wazowski in the background. That's exactly what it looks like.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Ridiculous, like, what she even turns into. What even that machine is. What it's doing there. And then the killer...
It's a cuber.
What? The killer, like, wakes up.
Oh, yeah, it has a spring sticking out of it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a spring.
I don't know where the spring's from. I have to look at it. It would have been funny if it was, like, parts of her outfit or something.
I know. But the spring?
Doesn't he call her, like, torpedo tits?
He does. He does call her torpedo tits.
She does have torpedo tits.
He's like, she would have a good lawsuit or something like that. Like, he makes a law joke there. He's like, ha ha ha. Like, I could get her a good... Like...
Why is the conveyor belt of this food processor literally, like, 100 yards before it finally processes the food? What it looks like it is, for the first time, I thought it was a dishwasher. Like those dishwashers that you stick the things on and the conveyor belt takes it through and washes. I thought it was some type of
cleaner too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it says food processor on it.
Fuck, so weird.
Which is in a fucking doom asylum for some reason.
Of course.
Like, why do they have food processors in an asylum where people are getting...
They're putting the people in there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder they got shut down.
Exactly.
They're like, here's your husband. We cut his face off and then threw him in the food processor.
Bro, so crazy. And then at the end here, this is like the girl's like running away in her high heels, and then he like catches up to her and is like all in her face and saying how beautiful she is, and then she like knees him in the crotch and runs away. He chases her again. She grabs the mirror, her mother's mirror.
Yeah.
And he, like, falls to his knees and is, like, crying and is, like, holding this, like, newspaper thing. And then she says, she has a really funny line, like, when she, like, goes to stab him that I don't remember. I'm trying to remember it right now. But she stabs him in the eye with the mirror because the mirror is, like, really pointy.
She says, like, he says, I love you. And she's like, I gotta tell you, I got a real problem with that.
Is that what it is? I got a problem with that.
While looking in the busted mirror.
Okay, yeah.
It's like, I love you. And he's like, I gotta tell you, I got a real problem with that. And she's like staring at herself.
And then she kills him. Or after she kills him, yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
I mean, okay. During that scene, there's another really funny gag here that I feel like is just added to... This movie is so brilliantly stupid. So it takes all of the aspects of bad movies and puts it all in one film. But between the bad acting, the bad music, the bad this and that, also the bad sound mixing. Yeah. Because during this scene, there are insanely loud hundreds and hundreds of bird sounds happening during all of the fight outside.
The birds were so loud.
They're so loud and so distracting. And it's like a perfect bad mix that would be in a terrible film. Yes. Of like, why did you add in so much
of the birds
background noise from birds?
So much so that like our cat, like Bean, came out and was looking at the TV like, where are the birds? Which was really funny. But yeah, you're right. They were so loud and it was like so obnoxious. But yeah, I think that the film, like, it really is just like so perfectly stupid.
The movie also has like 3 random covers of House of the Rising Sun.
Oh god, awful. All the covers are awful. So bad.
It starts with one.
Then they're listening to
and
one.
And then they listen to one like that is different, and then like
and they're driving
because they mirror the same exact opening scene. So
yeah.
There's the opening scene that comes around this bend and is under a bridge.
Yeah,
and it's playing this one version is supposed to be like a '70s version of the House of the Rising Sun, which I think that song came out in the '70s, so maybe that's not the version though. It's some covered version.
Yeah, it's a cover.
And then they have the new one, which is supposed to be like the more hip, modern one, for when they come around the same quarter 10 years later, mirroring the mom's demise. And then the movie ends with a new cover of the House of the Rising Sun, and it's like it's the same song in reiterations.
Yes.
Shout out to Heretic.
Yeah. It was, oh my gosh.
Yeah, if you're gonna be a bad slasher, be Doom Asylum.
100%. This was so entertaining. It was so fun to watch, especially like initially not knowing that it was kind of like a parody.
Oh my god.
Thinking like for a second that it was serious.
Amazing.
It was amazing. And then it was just so entertaining. So wonderfully entertaining.
This actually has like good looking film stock to it as well. Mm-hmm. Like I was pretty surprised at how good the film looked. Like just from the quality of the image, even though it's purposely shot poorly, like the framing and blocking and all of that stuff was terrible, but that's on purpose. I think that the fact the film actually, like, they used good film stock because it still looks quality in that way, just adds to it the charm for this movie to me. Because like I feel like they are competent filmmakers. And they just made a really funny parody film that I think is so bad and so believable that most people watch this and genuinely thought they were watching a bad movie.
Right.
Which it technically is,
yes.
but it technically isn't because I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
This is one of my favorite slashes I've watched in a while.
Yeah, for sure.
I had the most fun with this.
So much fun.
I got this completely.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people might not get this. They might be like, no, I think you're overselling this. I think that it really just is a bad movie. I disagree. I think everything is purposely done and done brilliantly.
Yeah.
Probably the best slasher parody movie I've ever watched.
It's so good.
It's just so perfect because it feels so right. It feels like so many movies I've watched in the past. It has the acting from like Ghost House or something where you're like, oh my god, everybody's performance, all their dialogue is such trash.
Yeah.
But it's all done with purpose and intent.
Yeah.
Like it's, can I call you mom?
Oh my god.
Like that stuff is so perfect.
So good. Was not expecting it at all.
Because like movies like this, like when you watch slashers of old, like in the 80s that are bad, you typically only get one or two of the moments that you get from this film. The rest of the film is just boring. And you get like one or two very funny takeaways.
Right.
Like Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 has garbage day, but like the majority of the rest of the film outside of the guy's performance and his like really bad laugh, which is kind of mimicked here by our porn star, he does like the eyebrow acting and like that. Like that's the funny takeaway, but a lot of the rest of the movie is either footage from the other film or just really dry, boring shit. Right? But you get these like iconic moments.
Yeah.
And this film is just kind of like a greatest hits album of bad moments all strung together into one terribly entertaining film.
Yes. Yeah, like every minute of this was entertaining.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's not just like, oh, here's a couple things. It
was wasted for me.
Right.
I was laughing throughout. It never got tiresome or old. It never overstayed its welcome, probably because it only has 69 minutes of actual footage.
Right.
But I would have stayed with this for another 20 minutes.
Yeah, same.
So I'm really looking forward to hopefully winning that eBay bid.
Yes.
And getting an Arrow release. This got an Arrow release, which is wild. And looking at these special features, seeing if there's a behind the scenes, a commentary, something like that. Because I would love to see the behind the scenes of this film.
Definitely. Yeah, me too.
So, yeah, I mean, would Kristen Davis of Sex and the City fame, which, you know, Charlotte is kind of this this character. I've watched all of Sex and the City. She is this character that's so up her own ass and is the one who never wants to look the fool. It's kind of funny to see her in a movie like this.
Right, where she's being very
her
silly.
character in Sex and the City would be so ashamed to be in this movie. This is like something you could pull up on her and be like, if you don't give me $5,000, I'm going to release this to the press.
Yeah, I hope that she...
embraces this?
Yeah, you know, kind of like...
Jennifer Aniston?
Right,
with
yes.
Leprechaun?
Yeah, like I hope so, because I think it's a really fun movie. But who knows? I mean, definitely there's actors that are like, nope, I don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. Like, I did not participate willingly, but I just can't imagine. Like, it's such a silly, goofy movie.
Yeah.
That, like, come on. Like, it's just fun times.
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston will never not be cool to me.
Yeah.
For her, like, admiration and her unabashed love that she has for Leprechaun anytime it's brought up to her in an interview.
Yeah, it's great.
So, she can have any other fucking thing happen to her, but I'll always be, like, on her side. Unless she was to retract that. Unless she was to come out and be like, you know what? Never mind. Fuck all these horror fans. Leprechaun is garbage and I hate you all. Then I would be like, okay, that sucks. But in the interviews I've seen where it's ever brought up, she talks about it very fondly. And I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Doom Asylum.
Doom Asylum. Holy hell.
What a fun time.
Yeah. It was. So hopefully I will be sharing my Arrow copy in the next week or two. That's that. All right. Anything more, my love? Are you okay? Are you all right?
How would I know?
How would I know?
Can I call you Mom?
It's okay. It's all right. There's something to live for. Jesus told me so. Name that movie.
Name it.
All right.
And you're cool.
Bye.
Bye.